Well, hello, hello. I am Steffi Funk, and welcome to a very special edition of Urban Shamanism. This is my 4-part series, How to Call in Your Soul Family for the Belonging and Power You Crave. But first, before we get into this first of the 4 episodes, and today I'm going to outline for you the very beginning of how to set up the calling in of your soul family. Before we get into that, I want to give you some context about where this came from and why I'm so passionate about sharing this with you. So I am the creator of a program called Lightworker Academy. Now, Lightworker Academy allows light workers, or, if you kind of sort of know you were meant to be a light worker, who are feeling stressed out, burnt out, stuck, or uninspired, to clarify and manifest their divine purpose into the world so they can rise as the light worker they just know they were born to be. And this allows you to get the joy and the abundance and freedom that Spirit intended for you, what you were put here to have and embody, so you can give others permission to have that too. And also to have the belonging that you crave. So here's the thing that I found, a light worker myself, and having worked now with over 250 latent light workers who became in their full expression as a result of my programs, I realized that a common theme among many of us, especially depending at what phase we are of our journey, is that we feel alone. We feel like our whole lives we've been living in a sense not belonging to this earth plane. And so we reach a point in our spiritual journey and in our divine purpose work and, our sort of our hero's journey in the world, where we're like, where are my people? Where's my soul family? How do I find them? I kind of know I'm supposed to have this community of people that are kindred spirits and that get me and that I get them, and we can have like real conversation on deep level. And when we don't feel like doing that, we can do that too. But I'm totally gotten, and I don't have to play this like people pleasing bullshit anymore. And so it became clear to me that if you are a light worker, which if you're watching this video, and you are, your soul wouldn't have been called to this if you weren't, that you may be at a point in your journey where you are hungry for that belonging too. And another symptom is that the people that I tend to work with tend to have been very successful in their lives in their zone of competence, meaning, in my past life, in this lifetime, I was both an executive in a corporate America in telecommunications. Then I ran a very successful naturopathy practice, right? And now I'm a shamanic healer and I work with energy. So we come from these places of success in our zones of competence, but we're just starting to step into our zones of genius. And when we're in our zones of competence, we are in spaces of perfectionism, overachieving, seeking validation from the outside. We're very masculine. And a lot of the divine purpose work is actually feminine. It's moving from a place of doing into being, and that our true power is in our being to affect tremendous change in the world. But what does that come with? When we live our old way, our old paradigms, we feel unsupported, stressed, burnt out. Like we have to do it all ourselves. We have to be in control. We have to figure it out. And we feel like there's nobody that can help us. We feel completely unsupported. So that's another aspect of the soul family that makes it so important, is that we want to call in the support that is ours by divine birthright so that we can have the power to make the kind of contribution to the world that we want to make. So this teaching that I'm going to share with you comes from the first part of the Lightworker Academy, which is the Medicine Wheel Manifestation Program. Okay. Now, my Lightworker Academy has 4 phases. Okay. The first phase, and it's seasonal. So I offer each phase just once a year. They're not prerequisites, but if you want to be a full graduate of Lightworker Academy, you take all 4 courses. If you would prefer to just more like take classes in Lightworker University, you can certainly pick and choose which of these courses feels best for you. But this particular teaching I'm going to share with you is a huge deep dive of a portion that I cover in my very introductory part of my Lightworker Academy program called the Medicine Wheel Manifestation Program, which I offer in spring. So I'm going to be launching this program in another few weeks, the very first course in the whole Lightworker Academy program, Medicine Wheel. So this teaching comes from Medicine Wheel. And the teaching is how to call in your soul family. And it's based on the 12 pillars of soul support that are ours by divine birthright, which came through a channeled body of teachings called the Michael teachings and was taught to me by my particular shamanic lineage, which is through the Power Path School of Shamanism. So everything that I learned here was adapted from what I learned from my own teachers when I was going through my shamanic training. Now, I am very specifically a specialist in soul purpose work. So I have adapted this teaching to help you understand how calling in your soul family is going to give you that belonging and power so that you can clarify, birth, and manifest your soul purpose and rise as the light worker you were born to be. Okay? So with that, let's dive right in. Just a little more about this Medicine Wheel Manifestation Program. This is the first program. This one is going to be for you if you want to learn how to work with energy yourself, if you want to learn how to work with energy to create what you want to create in your life, and if you want to clarify your divine purpose. Okay? Now, in the summertime, when I launch Unveil Your Inner Shaman, that's for those of you who have a sense you're meant to be a healer specifically. In the fall, I launch Create Your Dream Biz, and that's for any of you who are healers, creatives, light workers, change makers, who want to take the clarification you've received about your divine idea and actually turn it into a dream business, your dream business that has a huge impact and is successful, thriving, and abundant, and super authentic to you, which is the most important thing in divine purpose work. But hint, hint, when it's super authentic to you, it's automatically going to be successful, thriving, and abundant. Universal law. And then finally, I have my winter retreat. This is my high level program that I offer. And this is my accelerated awakening retreat in Costa Rica, which I offer every February. So with that, we're gonna deep dive. We're gonna super expand on this one piece of Medicine Wheel program called Call in Your Soul Family. All right, let's do it. So in today's lesson, you will learn 1, why it's important to call in your soul family. 2, what a soul contract really is. 3, why Spirit even gave you a support team. And 4, how this gives you belonging, power, and balance in your life, right? Like true work, true play, true study, and true rest. Okay. So why is this important? As I mentioned before, I work with people who are successful sort of like in their zone of competence, but they have a sense that they were meant for something more. The problem is that most light workers feel alone, misunderstood, burnt out, stressed out, uninspired. They want to connect with their intuition and work with energy and make a difference. But first, they don't know how. And second, they are operating under these constructs of, I have to do it all myself, or nobody gets me, right? Which makes it really hard to birth your divine purpose into the world. So first, we need to understand a little bit about what is a soul contract. So before you chose to come, yes, you chose to come here to this earth plane, you badass, and you wouldn't have chosen to come if you weren't a freaking badass, because this plane is dense as hell and it is not for the faint of heart. And in all likelihood, not only did you choose to come, you were chosen because you are such a spiritual badass. You, along with your spiritual divine guidance and support team who you have in the non-physical, chose your lifetime. And you chose your lifetime based on the highest growth to continue to ascend and awaken as a divine soul. And so you decided who were going to be the people in the world that supported you. And also, it was decided who would be supported by you. Now, these are called your healer healed agreements. Everybody has healer healed agreements. And so, if you're watching this video, you are actually one of my healer healed agreements. We came in and you said at some point, I am going to connect with Steph and she is going to teach me about XYZ, right? So in this case, how to call in my soul family when I'm ready for it and I'm going to be there. So congratulations on hearing the call. You are proof of this dynamic, right? So you yourself also have healer healed agreements. Now, whether or not you are a healer doesn't matter, because I contend that in divine purpose work, no matter what it is, I don't care if you're making a beautiful piece of jewelry or you are landscaping, which are both very important ways of bringing beauty into the world, you are healing. Okay. Divine purpose work is always healing because it's in your zone of genius and it helps in some way. Okay. So don't take this so literally, but for many of you, you are latent healers. So, and just either way, just know you do have healer healed agreements waiting for you to get clear and ring that bell authentically so that those who were born to learn from you, be blessed by you, heal from you, can find you and you guys can fulfill on your agreement. And these are divine agreements, okay? And at the end of the day, spirit, this is really important, spirit meant for you to be supported. Anything that tells you otherwise is false programming, okay? If some part of you feels like, I don't really have a soul family, or life is meant to be hard, that is your ego having a field day with you. That is programming, conditioning. That is actually not who you really are. Who you really are knows you're a divine creator, and who you really are can see, that's false programming. And this is why birthing your divine purpose is a fast track to ascension, because as you do divine purpose work, which just by showing up on this video today, you are doing divine purpose work because you're learning about something very important. Divine purpose work always brings up for us what needs to be seen, healed, and integrated for our expansion and ascension and awakening. So perfect. If we can see, I have a false story around this that tells me I'm not meant to have support, or I have to do it all myself, great. It's there to look at, heal, and integrate. And it will be. So what does your soul family do for you? So calling in your soul family gives you a deep sense of belonging, feeling seen, heard, and understood. It gives you a sense, this is that feminine, right? Sense of receptivity and havingness, which essentially is abundance. It's because abundance isn't what we can get, it's what we allow ourselves to open to receive. It's like our havingness, it's our worth. And it rises when we know we're enough just because we are. When we think it has to be contingent on what we do, we're fucked. So this, when you have your soul family around you, it helps you drop old stories of doing in order to be worthy. And you realize that just by being, you're worthy, you're loved, you're enough. It gives you power, okay? So we make so many mistakes in life, but it's so much harder than it has to be when we choose to take something on and we forget to call our support in first. And then we are doing it all ourselves, and then we feel trapped by our creations. And finally, it gives you balance. Life feels right sized because your 12 pillars of support, which are your soul family, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second, hold you up. They're pillars. They're perfectly balanced. Some are going to be in the play and humor realm, and some are going to be in the beauty and rest realm, and some are going to be in the work and pushing your edge realm, and some are going to be in the study and teaching realm, right? And so you get your whole, you feel really balanced because you're held perfectly in each of those quadrants of true work, true play, true study, and true rest. So without further ado, for context, here is what your soul family looks like. So these are the 12 pillars of support. This is a worksheet. that we will be working with over the course of the next 4 weeks. And this is going to teach you, don't let it overwhelm you. All I want you to know here, because I'm going to walk you through this in the next 4 weeks. But all I want you to notice here is that you have at least one person meant for you in each of these 12 areas of love, compassion, knowledge, mentor, child, beauty, humor, discipline, anchor, healer, expansion, and muse. Notice you, that name, that will never be blank because your name goes in that 13th position, which is the power position, which is what happens when you have your 12 spots filled. Now, don't worry if it doesn't come to mind 12 people that can fill these spots. It's okay. That's why we're doing this whole process. I'm going to help you call your soul family in. What I want you to understand though is you are meant to have these 12 spots filled. And if you don't have them, it's not because it's not yours on the energetic. It's just because you haven't called them in and opened to receiving what's yours in the physical. So that's what this whole process is about. All right. So yes, your name goes in that middle spot. You have a main player in each. You can also have multiple strings in each position. So this doesn't mean that we only have 12 people. We might have hundreds, but oftentimes spirit will give us strings of support. So there'll be like a main player. And let's say something happens to that main player. Things happen. That there's always someone to fill in the spot. Okay, so we don't have to get attached. We can love them, but if something happens, there's someone right there to fill their spot. And sometimes we already have multiple people in those spots. That's great. We get in trouble when we try to bypass this because then what happens? We are not in power. We are powerless because we are trying to do the job of 13 positions, or worse, we're like looking at our spouse and we're expecting our spouse to take care of 6 positions. And our spouse is going, dude, you are expecting way too much of me, right? And then we get in those power struggles, right? And yes, this is downloadable. So just stick around till the end and I'll tell you how to get this. Okay. And there's nothing you need to do with this today other than download it and print it. Okay. I promise I'm going to walk you through this every step of the way. And the next 4 weeks are going to be transformational for you. So bottom line, you do have a chosen soul family. Yes, you do. I want that to sink in loud and clear. How good does that feel knowing they are out there? They're waiting for you. They're looking for you too. Okay. Know that this theme of trying to find our communities, feeling like not a sense of belonging, your light worker family is like feeling the same way. And you are going to be the answer to their prayers, just as they will be the answer to yours. So now that you learned why it's important in this today, in part 2, next week, I'm going to walk you through who are they. So next week, I'm actually going to walk you through each of the positions and what each of the positions really means so that you can easily identify if you have or don't have, which is fine, somebody in that spot, okay? Now in week 3, another couple weeks, I'm going to show you how to actually fill out your worksheet for the power and belonging you crave and what to do for the positions that are filled in and what to do for those that are not filled in. So don't worry. And also don't stress. This is not homework. It's soul work. This is going to be fun. Just stick with me, you guys. It's so worth it. And it's just because it's a worksheet, just let's call it a fun sheet and call it a day. Okay. It's soul work. It's fun. And then finally, in week 4, I'm going to give you the rituals to actually energetically call in the soul family that is yours in this lifetime by divine birthright. Okay. So just a couple last notes. Your soul family, this includes all of the partners, cheerleaders, supporters, collaborators, beneficiaries, and clients of your divine purpose. Okay. Why? Because each person's dream is the answer to another's, and all ships rise with the tide into 5D. We each give each other permission to be extraordinary. So as we allow ourselves to receive support, we stand for others to say, you get to be supported too. And then we come together and we're like, hey, you want to do this? I want to do this. How perfect is that? My dream's the answer to yours. Your dream's the answer to the mine. And there's like synergy. And it's amazing. And believe me, I know because I live it today. So remember, this isn't homework. It is soul work. Have fun. You got this. Just stick with me. Just take one next inspired action at a time as I invite you to do it. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Don't overthink it. That's the old paradigm programming. So, final warning, do not try to create anything in your life without the awareness of the 12 pillars of support, or you will struggle, feel trapped by your own creations, and be stuck in obsession, confusion, overthinking instead of clarity. Now, there's nothing wrong here. You're not getting punished. There's no salvation in anything, but it's universal law. So why not work with the laws of the universe instead of against them, so that we can have ease and flow and magic and miracles and synchronicities instead of life feeling hard and like a struggle? Why? Why? Like, why? Spirit doesn't want that for you. Spirit wants you to be happy, joyous, and free. I promise. I promise. And you know that to be true. You absolutely know it in your bones, or again, you wouldn't be here. So take action now. This is all you need to do today to start and catalyze this whole process. This is your weekly inner shaman practice special edition. Download and print your copy of the of the 12 pillars of support. And you can find that at steffiefunk.com/soulfam, one word, but I'm going to give you that link in a second. So don't even worry about it. For now, just kind of look at it, contemplate it, and notice, just notice, where do you feel supported in your life and where don't you? So just starting to come at this from a place of neutrality, curiosity, really bringing this to the forefront. It's not something over here that you're just kind of like, it's an annoyance. Like, you're really going to start to look at this. Wow, I'm meant to be supported. Do I feel supported? Where do I? Where don't I? Who do I consider great support? Where do I feel like I'm not as supported? What kind of support am I really seeking? What do I want to, where do I want to feel more aligned and supported in my life? Just start to notice. If you feel like journaling something about that, just put it in your awareness. That's all there is. And then contemplate the worksheet, like look at it, but don't force anything. Again, I'm going to show you how to fill this out. For now, just know it is an energetic tool. It has been programmed with energy that is going to align this whole process and work for you. And for now, you being open is enough. Your worksheet being open is enough. That's what creates the space. When we intentionally open and create space and say, it's okay just as it is, I'm open to receive, now the support can come in. So the space creates the opening for the support to come in. So that's all you need to do today is download and print your copy of the 12 pillars of support, contemplate, look, think, notice, and then pay attention to next week's episode, which is going to come out next Tuesday, a week from today, with part 2. And I'm going to take you even deeper, and I'm going to give you really strong understanding of what those 12 positions are, position by position, and help you identify, do I have someone there? Or maybe it's not even a someone, hint, hint, doesn't always have to be a person. Or don't I? And either way is fine, but you're going to know, because it's kind of hard to know, right? Love, compassion. Well, what's the difference, right? I'm going to tell you exactly what they mean. And I'm also going to show you how they're segmented quarter by quarter into those 4 different chunks to give you a lot of balance in your life. So it'll be really fun. I will see you there. In the meantime, download your worksheet at steffiefunk.com/soulfam, one word. Make sure you spell my name correctly. If you're watching this video either on IGTV or my website, you should be able to find the link for this download either below or above in my bio. So with that, in this lesson, you learned why it's important to call in your soul family, what a soul contract is, why Spirit gave you a support team, and how this gives you belonging, power, and balance. So with that, download your worksheet at steffiefunk.com/soulfam. Pay attention to what comes up for you this week after you do so. And I will see you next week with the next step in this process of calling in the soul family that is yours by divine birthright for the power, belonging, and balance that you crave. I'll see you then.